Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we're proud to bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet.
In this scale modeling methods review, we'll show you how to wire the Ford 429 Boss Hemi engine. Now, the Boss 429 is one of the rarest and most valued muscle cars. In total, there were only about 1,400 of those made. Now, the origin of the Boss 429 Hemi engine came as a result of Ford trying to develop a Hemi engine that could compete with Chrysler's 426 Hemi in the NASCAR races. Now, one really nice enhancement to your model car build is to add details like spark plug wires to your kit's engine. Now, there are plenty of online resources these days to show the placement of those and other details too. Now, we'll start with an assembled 125 scale 429 engine and an aftermarket wired distributor, which are easily found online at hobby and auction sites. Here is the Boss 429 engine that we'll use to show you how to install an aftermarket pre-wired distributor. Now, this engine came from the James Bond 71 Mustang kit by AMT, but both Revell and AMT, as well as some resin casters, have provided Boss 429 engines for the modeler. Now, you'll notice later that I've also added a starter, oil filter, and transmission from my parts box, and I scratch built a coil for the engine too. These are all things that you can do relatively easily to make your model look much more realistic. The first thing I did was to make a coil, and I did that by drilling a small hole in a piece of sprue that was about 1/10 by 2/10 long. I tapered one end and flattened the other, and I used a 0.03 mini drill bit and a handheld pin vise just a little bigger than the coil wire that I'll install there. Now, note that if you're building a model of a mid-70s or newer car, check for pictures online of the engine compartment, because that's about the time when some cars started using electronic ignition, and some had the coils built into the distributor cap. If that's the case for your model, you'll need to trim one wire from the aftermarket pre-wired distributor. Now, I used a toothpick stuck into the hole for the wire to hold the coil while I painted it flat black. Now, some performance coils came in other colors, so that's up to you. You could paint it any color you like. If your distributor it doesn't come painted, go ahead and paint the cap black. Now, they came in a lot of different colors. And then the base of it just below the cap, you want to paint that aluminum color. And also the shaft, the mounting shaft, can be aluminum as well. On this motor, the distributor is up front, and you may find it necessary to enlarge and deepen the hole where your distributor mounts, as opposed to the one in the kit if there was one. So measure the base of your distributor and then use an appropriate drill bit and handheld pin vise to make that a little larger so that yours will fit. Quite often the mounting stem on your distributor may be a little long, so you'll need to trim it to fit. Now that your distributor is the right color and length, it's time to go ahead and scrape the paint from the base of the distributor and glue it into place on your engine. Give it time to set up and completely dry before going further, because you'll be manipulating the wires and it'll cause the distributor to come loose. Again, scrape the paint from your coil. We're going to mount that next, and where it attaches to the engine, and the engine of course. And some, they get mounted straight up, and others are flat with the wire going in from the front. If that's the case for yours, glue the coil in place first, and then run the wire after allowing the glue to set up overnight. The coil on the Boss 429 engines have the wire running in from the back, so I glued the wire into place first, and then the next day I glued the coil into place on the engine. And now here you'll see where the spark plugs are located on the 429, and you'd have to locate your location for your particular engine if you're doing a different one, and use a drill bit the next size up from the wires on your distributor, and then drill holes in the appropriate places for the spark plug wires. Now, Hemi engines generally have seals instead of spark plug boots, so use a Sharpie and put a little black circle around the spark plug holes there, so that that's where they will go through the valve covers. From what I could determine, after reviewing some information on the internet, this is the firing order that most likely was the 429 Boss engine requirement. After you've got the information for your firing order, and remember the distributor runs counterclockwise, run the wires to the appropriate cylinder, and then trim the wire and insert it into the hole for length. And then make sure to leave enough slack in the wire to have the wires lay flat a little later. Real plug wires are real flexible and don't support themselves like these, but this wire can be is a solid wire inside, and so you can actually mold it to position instead of using wire looms. But those are also an enhancement and can be used for modeling as well. There you have it. We hope you like this Right-On Replicas Scale Modeling Methods tutorial on wiring the Ford 429 Boss Hemi engine. And so that you don't miss any more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can do that by clicking on the icon in the lower right hand of any of our reviews, or you can find us on Facebook and even our website, rightonreplicas.com. Thanks.